Hi, everybody who cares. Here's my review of Stranger Things Season 4 Part 1. And before going into all this, I gotta tell you what the quick plot detail is, and yes, this will be spoiler free. The plot is there's been over a year since the incident from Season 3, and Ellen having ritual time with Taines until things get worse with a new threat coming to town, starting killing people in brutal ways, and it ushers the gang to stop this new threat. Well, there's more than that, because there rolls, stories into this season, but the thing is, I gotta say it as in my podcast, and never I will mention it, and yet, all will be spoiler free. So, what I think of it, I fucking love it. I think this is one of my favourite seasons of this show. And again, I can't say it straight away, even though I want to say it, because I think it is my favourite season. But technically, it's only part one. And again, if I didn't have part two delivers. And also, I don't want to say the favourite season until I see the whole lot. So I'll be just one more season after this. So, what I actually like about this, I love the dark tones. They push the dark tones a lot further than this. Like, this is the death scenes. Like, there's a lot of death scenes. Yeah, I know people say, well, the death scenes in, all the season of Stranger Things. Yeah, there is. But this one pushes it a lot more further. And the way these characters die, it's quite fucking brutal and dark. And again, it comes too close to Game of Thrones. Yeah, it's not on Game of Thrones level, but it comes close to it with some of the death scenes is so brutal, so messed up, and especially with the big bad, this new big bad is so good. And for weeks, then you got to reveal it in the trailer. People were hyped for this character, and seriously, he is worth the hype. Especially in the episode 7, the last episode of this part, where you found more about this character, you're thinking, oh my god, this character is so good. The story's so good. The backstory on this character is so good. And I can't wait to see what you're going to do with this character. Again, it could kill it off and end the season. Who knows? But same time, it might not. It might have to make this one the big final boss for next season. And another thing to do, why I said they roll the side stories too, with most of them are very interesting. Yeah, there's some faults where I mentioned near the end, but some are very interesting. It's like one of the main storylines, and I know people say there could be a spoiler, but technically they spoiled themselves. Netflix, which is Hooper is still alive, and his story is he's trying to escape Russia in a Russian prison, and he's a prisoner in Russia, and he tried to escape. And the big highlight on this one is there's one episode that he actually goes, yeah, you already know his backstory, but he found admits that the reason why he's helping these people from all the seasons is not because he want to help them, because he need help himself, because he think he's cursed. He had a bad upbringing from his dad saying that he's basically cursed, and as you know, his backstory with his wife and daughter is so sad, so tragic. And the thing is, he'll admit that reason why he helped, 11, and the mother, the main mother from that wimpy kid, is that he need help himself. Now the only downside I got this with his story, I think it's been too long on his story. It's been too much focus on his story, as the other story that connects to it, which is the mother of Noel. Sorry, no, Will. Sorry, Will. Sorry, that's it. The mother of Will. She somehow get a package from Hooper, even though okay, and she go down try to save him, and that's another story. But the thing is, it don't spend too much time on that one. But with Hooper, I think it do spend a bit too much time. That's all you never can say about that storyline. It do spend a bit too long on it. It's like another storyline, which is to me one of the highlights of the whole storyline, which I've quite surprised with, and yet technically I did hint it on the trailers, is Mac's storyline, because it makes sense technically, because if you haven't seen season 3, there's a bit of spoiler where I think he wasn't this, you've probably seen it. Is my biggest fault in the end of season 3 is the Max Rocky's brother, and he died, and she was crying, she was heartbroken, and then in the next scene near the end, she's all happy and joking with Dustin. And again, yeah, I get you need a bit of humour, but I'm thinking, okay, you took lost your brother, know what I mean? Yeah, I know he's a douchebag, but the thing is, she still loves him. And in this season, it actually fixed that problem that she's going through that problem. She's by herself, that he died, and she's not getting help, she's not trusting no one, she become like an outcast. And the only thought I got for his storyline is she broke up with Lucas, our off-screen version. It's up mentioned um in one line of the whole episode virtually that, oh, we broke up. Don't get mad, can't broke up, yeah. It's like, oh, it's a broke up, you know what I mean? But his storyline is interesting and powerful too towards the show. And they got like the main storyline, one of the main ones, like 11, then she moved to Will's family in another city. And she been lying to Mike over she's settled down perfectly, but she's not. She's not settling down perfectly because she got her powers. She's tried to adapt to being normal, but the problem is she dealing with boys. It seems like she's a freak or that. And the reason why she's the highlight is later on, you actually find out more her backstory from her past, which go more detail, which is very, very interesting and very executed it. And also, there's a new character there with this character from the past too, and this character is so interesting. Trust me, anytime those get on screen, it is interesting, and also it is a very interesting backstory. Again, I don't give too much away because it will ruin it for you, but trust me, it is very interesting. And it does answer a lot of questions from about 11 from season 1 onwards, and not just that, it answers a lot of questions about the upside down or that, which is, again, that's what I'm going to give it on that bit. And also there's another character called Eddie. This is like the newest character that we got in this season, and at first you see him, you think he's a fucking asshole. But the more you see him, you end up liking this character, and it is a charming little character to join this little group. Also, another thing is the horror elements. Yeah, I know I'm going on the horror elements. Is I love the TV they play on this. Like, why is everybody talking about the big bad? There's a big inspiration for Elm Street. You can tell for multiple reasons. Reason one, its design is almost like Freddy, and two is you make a joke about it, about being like Freddy, Elm Street in one of the episodes, which is quite funny, and also one of the best things is he even got Robert England to guest star in one of the episodes in this. The OP Freddy. So you can tell how heavy inspiration by that, and also, again, this is not a spoiler. The house which you see on the trailer, their face on the trailer is a memory of it, the remake of it, with that the way it done it, and also got it done now. And I think the inspirations is from Elm Street and it, and also the inspiration from Stephen King films in this too. Yeah, I know that's most of the season, but heavy on this season with the whole elements. You can tell that there are a lot of Stephen King in this, and a lot of Elm Street in this too. And also, the one thing I actually love about this too, there's some bits there that it actually go to like real life or based on real life. I know all the season does that with references and do the research, but it go a lot more heavy with Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, I know that's been a whole big theme our all the seasons of the show, but there's a bit with Dungeons and Dragons which is quite true. It's done the research, especially in the 80s and maybe a bit in the early 90s, but again, it's very weird that bit where people actually thought Dungeons and Dragons is like this cult where you worship devils and stuff like that. And I actually love that he actually called that day, and it is quite funny in a way, but at the same time, it is quite true. That did happen. That did fucking happen back then, which is funny. Now, my negatives for this, the one I said before is Hopper storyline, which it can drag that a bit too long. That's one. And the only other negative I can say about this is the release, how they released this season. I know people say, what do you mean? Well, we all got given 7 episodes for part 1, which fine, whatever. And in part 2, again, if it's true, we are getting 9 episodes. We are getting 2. And yeah, I know people will say, yeah, but it's like feature films where episode 8 is an hour and a half and episode 9 is 2 hours and 40 minutes. Which, yeah, they are. It's like movies. But the thing is, also, it does feel a bit scummy the way it released it. Yeah, I know why they're doing it. Because they want the hype thing where people talk about the show for a couple of weeks. Like fairy videos and stuff like that. Because the problem with Netflix shows, people talk about it for a week maybe and that's it and move on to the next show. And they got stuff like Disney Plus or even Amazon on some of their shows where they release like a show, like for example, My Audience. People talk about that show non-stop, and an even better example last year with WandaVision. How many videos that got released, weekly, where people guessing the fairies or what gonna happen in the show, and that's what Netflix wanted with this, and it done it well with Arcade, with at least 3 episodes a week, which to me, I think I prefer that route. But if you're gonna do like a monthly route thing, at least give like an even number, like 5 episodes, like make it a 10 episode season, make it 5 episodes, part 1, 5 episodes, another 5 episodes from part 2. Again, that's the only thing I got problem with this show is that's the main one. It's the release. To me, I feel like that we know why they done it, mate. Yeah, for the hype, but at the same time, I think if more feel like to get more money out of you, so you'll get too much subscriptions out of watching this one season. Because lately the business practices where it's had, saying your password thing, the way you're handling that is wrong. Or even worse, when it increased the price, then especially, a day or two later, then it cut Russia off Netflix. So we feel like that we're paying the price for them losing out on Russia market. Which again, it does seem like that to a lot of people. And Netflix are having a bad time now, and again, this is not helping. Again, looking not many people complaining, but if people are complaining, I can't blame them too, in a way. So, we'll get to my final thoughts. Here are my final thoughts. This season is a dark and horror and nail biting, fantastic twist series. And again, I can't give a final score, but if I give it now, I give it 8 out of 10. Again, that could improve on my next part 2 video, if I will include this score as a now. Because once that comes out, I could add to it or I could take from it. It depends how, if you do a bad job on it. But at the moment now, it's an 8 out of 10. It's a must watch for any fans of Stranger Things. And I think this is one of the strongest seasons we had. And it could get stronger with part 2. even though it's only 2 episodes. But again, what can you do? So, leave your comments below what you thought of this season if you've seen it, and also what you think about this, volume thing, where it being split in the way it is. Are you bothered by it, or are you not bothered by it? And if you liked the interview, please leave a like, and if you want to see more in the future, please subscribe to my channel. This has been a Brit Who Cares. See you on the next one.